Hello and welcome to your last JQuery tutorial. Today we'll also be using JQuery UI, so please go ahead and go to the website, which is jqueryui.com. And so we've talked about and we've actually worked with UI before, and as it says right here, it is a curated set of user interface interactions, effects, widgets and themes built on top of the JQuery JavaScript library. Whether you're building highly interactive web applications or you just need to add a date picker to a form control, JQuery UI is the perfect choice. So this is the actual introduction to JQuery UI, and what we're going to do is we're going to click on custom download. So please go ahead and do that. I already have it, and when you already have it downloaded, you will get this zip file, and go ahead and download it into your computer. And what we need to do is, as you see, we already have index.html in the file, which is right here, and we have the library actually here, the JQuery UI library. And what we're going to do is we're going to get jQuery UI.css, we're going to get our jQuery UI.js, and we're also going to get our jQuery library, which is 3.3.1.min.js. Your version could be a higher version, I don't really know. And you also need the index file, which is right here. So go ahead and paste it right here, so we all have them in our desktop. If you're working with your files in a folder, go ahead and write the name of the folder as well in your notepad code. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get our stuff back, so our notepad and etc. So what we're going to do is, first of all, from index.html, as you can see we have right here, we're going to get this link href jQuery.ui.css, and we also need to put in our jQuery original library, which is, my version is 3.3.1, and we also need jQuery UI.js, which we all just put in our desktop. And here it is, here's my file. So let's go ahead and get started with our code. So here we are, go ahead and structure it this way also. So we're going to go ahead and add in a div with the ID of drag1, let's say. Close your div and we'll give it some jQuery code, which we're already familiar with. And we're going to write this, and we're going to select our drag1 div, and we're going to give it the draggable jQuery method, just like so. We also need to have this in a function. Go ahead and type in function. We also need to add this hashtag as it is an ID, and when we have it inside of our function, let's give it some CSS design. So I have my width, height, background border, and my border radius. Let's save and refresh. We're going to get our div with our CSS properties, and it is going to be draggable. What we can do is, inside of here, we can open up curly braces, and we can write axes, and we can select the let's say y-axis. And when we save and refresh, it will only be able to go up and down. And there's also the X value as well, which is obviously the other way around, so from the right to the left. We can go ahead and create a p tag inside of our div, and let's just write the letter A. It doesn't really matter what we write. Let's give our p some CSS properties, like a background change gray, and we're going to change axes with handle, and we want to handle p, so we're going to put it right here. Now if we save and refresh, we see that our p tag is right here. If I hold on to my div and if I want to drag it around, it won't work. However, if I click on my div and hold it, I'll be able to drag it around, as we wrote the handle right here. And there's also the opposite of this, which is cancel. If I save refresh, we'll see that if I'm holding onto the div, I can move it around. If I hold on from the p tag, I won't be able to do anything. it only works with my div area. We can change cancel with reverts, and we can set its value to true without any quotation marks. Save, refresh. We'll be able to drag it around from anywhere. However, if we let go, it will go back to its original position. We can also add to this a comma, and we can type in cancel as well, and we'll write our P just like this. Save, refresh. Now we'll be able to drag it around. It will go back to its place just like it should do due to revert. However, we won't be able to move it with P element. If we go ahead and change our P tag text to hello world and add helper right here, and its value will be clone. If we save this and refresh, what we'll see is that when we drag from the div, we'll only get the text inside of our div, and it is hello world. What we can also add to this is grid, and we're going to do it inside of square brackets. We'll add the values 2020, save, fresh. Now we'll see that they will move with 20 pixeled steps. It is sort of the same, just with pixelized steps. All of these are basically just options for draggable. What we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this div, change the ID to class, and it will just still be drag1. We'll add a comma right here and type in drag1 as a class with a dot, and we'll also add it right here, so dot drag1, and let's get rid of revert and helper just like this. When we save, we refresh, we get two divs which are both draggable as they're basically the same. However, we see this a little trouble trying to put them right next to each other right here. So there is a jQuery UI helper for this. We see the problem right here, they just won't stay next to each other. So we're going to add snap the property, and we're going to write true. When we save and refresh, we'll now be able to place them right next to each other or right below each other. So that is it on draggable. We can easily just comment on this code, we don't need it. However, we'll still be working with these same selectors. However, this time instead of writing draggable, we'll write resizable, in which we won't really place anything just yet. We'll save, refresh, and what we'll see is that we'll be able to resize our divs in any way that we'd like. Resizable also has many options and methods, and we also write those in curly braces. To start off, let's type in animate true, which is self-explanatory. It is basically doing the same thing as an animation as we see right here. Then let's go ahead and type in ghost true. Let's save, refresh, and so basically what this does is, as you see, we're going to see a ghost effect right here, and we're going to see how much we're actually wanting to enlarge it and how it will look before it actually happens, so it's more efficient. Now to write our next option for resizable, let's go ahead and create a div with the class of container, and container will be basically the parent of our drag1 class, just like this. So it obviously needs to be bigger than drag1, so we will give it some CSS properties. So I've given it width 500 pixels, height, let's make it 500 pixels as well, and background silver. And what we'll do is we'll add a comma and we'll type in containment, which will have the value dot container, so our div. We'll save, refresh. Now if I make it this big, so the first one, this second one will move to the size of the first one, if that makes sense. So it moves in the bounds of its given parent element, which is our container, div class container. Just so we can see it better, I made it into a little more darker gray. So here's my div. I can only move my divs to the size of the container. Now let's talk about the maximum height and width. Let me just quickly make this more structured, and let's go ahead and type in max height, and we'll give it the 250 value. You don't have to write pixels, or you can if you want to. UI will understand it as pixels. and if I save and refresh, we'll only be able to move it to its 250 pixels. So my div is actually 200 pixels in height, so only 50 will be added, as we see right here. Let me show you. See, it only goes to the bounds of 250. We can also go ahead and add in max width instead of height, which will make to 300 pixels. Save, refresh. Right here we can also add min height and min width, so the minimum values, and we'll see them right here. So this is the minimum values. Let's continue and also write another property or option, whatever you want to call it. Let's write helper, and we'll write UI, which is a class. Let's go ahead and make this class right here. So .ui, and we'll just give it a simple border. So border, and we'll make it double. Now save, refresh. Now we're making anything bigger or smaller, so any of our divs will get a double border. The next thing that we'll add is aspect ratio 16:9. Save, refresh. We'll be able to make it into a rectangle through this 16:9 ratio. So we're forcing the element to maintain a specific aspect ratio during resizing. So it is basically maintaining the 16:9 ratio, which is a rectangle shape. We can set it to 4:3, and it will change from the width and height a little bit wider to a little bit wider. We can set it to 4:4, which is obviously a square shape, as we see right here. Let's move on. Let's type in grid to 50. We'll see that we'll now move with 50 pixels, just like this. Let's type in also resize. Let's write hashtag drag1, which is the div, and so we have both a class ID drag1, and we have both ID drag1 and we have class drag1. We're selecting the ID. Now save, refresh. We're gonna see this happening. So it is self-explanatory, the property or the option. When we make our class bigger, the ID also gets bigger with it. So one or more elements are being resized synchronously with the resizable element, if that made sense. So the word is self-explanatory. I don't see anything not making sense. Continue. Let's continue. Let's make a UL element. Let's make it right after our last div. So we'll write UL with the ID of sortable, and we'll have 9 items inside. Now to work with this using JQuery, what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to comment on our resizable, and inside of our function we're going to go ahead and type in the selector sortable, which is the ID for UL. And for the sortable UL ID, we'll add the sortable JQuery method. Let's save this, refresh, and see what happens. It is right here. I can sort my items to anywhere that I'd like. Now we're just going to add some design or properties to our LIs, which is this, and to our sortable ID'd UL, we're going to add UI selecting and UI selected. I will explain this a little bit better when we see the result, and I've just given them any colors. If we save and refresh, after we go down, we have this list. I can, as you see, I can select any of them, and as I'm selecting it, I get the colors of my UI selecting, which is this, which is sort of like a light blue, like an aqua sort of color, and when they are all selected, it is a darker blue, which is my UI selected. So this is basically active mode, so during the process of selecting, and when you let go, it is when you've already selected, which is right here. So that was due to my selectable method. I can go ahead and comment on selectable, and we'll continue with sortable. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make another URL, and I'll name it sortable1. Right here we'll add it with the first URL list. We'll go ahead and add a class to our URLs, which will be connected, and I'll do the same thing for the second one as well, just like this. And we'll also add some CSS properties to connected. We'll add basically just a float left, and right here in my JQuery code I'll write connect with, and we'll write our connected class, so dot connected, like so. Let's go ahead, save this, refresh. Now I can easily move from one URL to another with different items, as we can see right here. Let's also go ahead, add placeholder with its value being UI state highlights. Now if we save, refresh, we'll see that the places where we're moving the LIs from, or the items, are highlighted in their background layer, just so we know where its place was or is. So to move on, what I've done right here is after my URLs, I've made a div, a parent div with the ID of accordion. Inside of this div are 3 sectioned texts, and they're all the same, it doesn't exactly matter. As you see, I have 3 divs inside of this one big div ID accordion, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my accordion selector, and I'm also going to write my accordion method. Also add some CSS properties for this, which is just going to be one simple float left. And what we're going to do is we're just going to write accordion with the accordion method, and what we're going to do is we're going to write the accordion selector with the accordion method, and when we save and refresh, we're going to get something that looks like this with these smooth and easy and quick transitions. So yeah, that was all that I had prepared for today. Thank you so much for watching.